right, we are now joined by Benny Safdie, director, writer, editor, producer of The Smashing Machine, the story of mixed martial artist and UFC champion Mark Kerr.
That's right.
Now, that is a very short synopsis I pulled right off Letterboxd, but can I get a pitch from you?
Okay. Well, to me, it's a movie about, I wanted to make a movie what it felt like to be him. Mm-hmm. Truly. I wanted the audience to feel like, what is it like to be a fighter? What do they go through? Everything that they feel. And I wanted to make his memories your memories.
Looking through your filmography, it's very clear that you love sports. I mean, Lenny Cook, Uncut Gems, more recently Happy Gilmore 2, which I know you grew up loving that movie.
Oh my God, idolizing.
What drew you to the world of MMA?
Well, it's like what I remember going in 2002 with my stepfather to see like one of the first UFC fights that, like, I guess after it had just kind of been sold.
Yep.
So I saw it in 2002 in Connecticut. But before that, watching it on pay-per-view and just like these, like, really, there was something really exciting about it. It was like bloody and gory, but there was just something really almost experimental early on. And I've always loved boxing. I've always loved boxing and just combat sports in general. And I've done some boxing, personally. I was going to play a boxer in something, so I was like, if I'm going to play a boxer, I got to do this. And so I went to a boxing gym, and then like 10 years go by because the thing never happened. But I became close, and I really loved the sport. And the biggest thing for me was you walk into this gym, and you feel like you're going to look like a complete asshole. Like you can curse and stuff, right? Or not?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. Please curse.
Okay. You look like, I think I'm going to look like a complete asshole. Like, don't know how to throw a punch. I'm going to look really stupid. But I really wanted to learn. And you go in there, and if you really want to learn, they're going to take you in and they're going to help you, And it was just such a kind of loving, inclusive place. And I thought, nobody knows that, Nobody knows that about this world. And you get really close and you sparring and somebody knocks you out and you're like, thank you, man. It's like, that's the greatest thing in the world. And so I just kind of became obsessed with that idea of this brotherhood of that. And specifically, like early MMA, you see them pop up on your feed and you're just like, this stuff looks awesome. The ring, there's Pancras, which is like green. Bas Rutten, just like he said something amazing to me. He goes, I won all my fights in the first round. And he's like, because it was only one round, 30 minutes. And you just think, oh my God. Early on, these things were just like endurance, like round robins where you're fighting 5 guys in one night. And just the fact that, like, I know you maybe you've seen that, like, I forget who he's fighting, but the Don Fry fight where it's just like punch. They're just destroying one another. And at the very end, it's like he doesn't get up and fucking put his hands up in the air. He just pats the guy on the chest like, we did that. There's something awesome about that part of it. And in sports in general, you can use it to understand your life,
Yeah, no, it's definitely like as close as you can get to like real life drama.
Yeah.
No.
And it's like the highest stakes, and it's so clear cut. And yeah, that's just like, and yeah, there's just something about like two people facing one another and then just trying to understand like what that feels like,
Now this stars, obviously, The Rock.
Yeah.
Pretty big name.
Yeah.
There's a great story about how you ended up linking up with Robert Pattinson on Good Time. He had seen a frame from Heaven Can Wait, and he said...
Heaven Knows What. Heaven Can Wait is a great movie, though. And totally okay, because it's a great movie in its own right.
Heaven Knows What. Go watch it. Beautiful film. Is there a story behind how you ended up linking up with The Rock?
So he reached out like in 2019 about wanting to make this movie, And as soon as I saw the documentary and I saw Mark Kerr, I was just like, I just kind of fell in love with him. He's this soft-spoken, gentle guy who can go in the ring and just destroy. And yet then he would come out and he would try and explain himself, what his emotions were, what his feelings were. And I'm like, this guy is the most beautiful contradiction I've ever seen. And there was something about also just like, he was going through so much in his life, and yet he comes out and he puts on this face for the crowd. He smiles, And I could relate to that, sometimes having to put yourself behind for other people. And I knew Dwayne can relate to that. And I just kind of got him, because you have this image of him in your head. And then when I met him, it was just like, oh my God, this guy is so deep and beautiful and sweet, and everything just made sense, you know? And things kind of just drifted apart. COVID happens, and I remembered thinking like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with this thing. So I went online. There's a very specific yellow Nautica sweater that he wears in the documentary, and it just stuck in my head. And I had a screen grab on my phone from 2020. I was just looking at it, and I just would always look at it and think, oh, you know, there was something that I needed to do with him on this thing. And I found a version of the sweater in XXL, which was like a miracle. And I sent it to him, and I wrote a handwritten letter saying like, you know what, whenever this happens, if I'm a part of it, if not, whatever, I just want you to wear this thing, put it on, and it'll help you hopefully become Mark in some little way. But I wrote it in my handwriting, and my handwriting's like a psychotic second grader, and it looks terrible. So I'm sure somebody in his group got this like package, and they're like, let's just not mention this. And then you fast forward to Emily Blunt. I'm working with her on Oppenheimer. And I was like, you know what? What's going on with that thing? You know, I haven't stopped thinking about it. I show her the picture, and you know, then we just hooked up, and we just decided, you know, let's just do it. You know. It's this thing I hadn't stopped thinking about for 4 years, so let's just go for it.
It does feel like a role that is tailor-made for Dwayne.
Yeah.
But I do think whenever you have someone that is that recognizable, it presents some challenges.
For sure.
So what was the process in making sure that, you know, hair and makeup, and what were you doing to make sure that when we watch this movie, we see Mark Kerr and not Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Well, and I think part of it was he wanted to disappear too. You know, he wanted the ability to kind of, specifically with the things he was going to talk about and explore, he wanted to feel like he could do that. And working with Kazu, who is one of the greatest makeup artists in the world, you know, ever, we kind of had these 3 phases of makeup. We could do a full reconstruction and make him look exactly like Mark Kerr, or we could kind of find a balance. And part of it was like, there's going to be a lot of movement. I don't want to do special effects. I want to have this on his face while he's fighting. And I said to Dwayne too, I want you in there doing this stuff. And he's like, okay. And so he's getting his face mashed around, and this stuff had to be on there. And so we settled on one where I was like, I need Dwayne to shine through too, because this is his story also. You know, I said to Mark early on, like, you lived your life so we could all feel it. And so there's going to be things in this that we're all exploring and we all want to look at. And so I wanted parts of Dwayne to come through too. It needed to be kind of a mix of the two of them. And so we found this like perfect balance. And then Mia Neal, who did the wig, you know, that was something that was just so, we were really like thinking about like different things. And you know, sometimes it's thinning, sometimes this is covering up, you know. Wanted that to feel real, because on The Curse, I remember when I had a wig on, I was like, I got to be in the water. Because if you're in the water, then like that things kind of just, you forget. There's little things that you can kind of do that make you forget about that. So sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's gelled, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's when you wake up, it looks a different way, you know. I'm always trying to figure something out. You know, it's like,
the wig was very impressive, because I've never seen a wig where it's thinning and then you can see the beaded sweat like underneath the thinning hair, which is like a very unique look.
And what we really settled on was with Kazu was this, just the brow and the nose and the ear, cauliflower ear. And then we also talked about how after a fight these things swell. So we had prosthetics for after fights, right after, 12 hours later, just different levels of all of that. So, but it was Dwayne had to be in makeup for like 3-4 hours a day, you know, just because it was this. It's not necessarily the pieces; it's the fact that they're so delicately and like applied, and the seams disappear. And you know, like Kazu and I, like obsessed over the eyebrows. You know, because if the eyebrows were a specific way, they highlight the eyes one way. If they're too sharp in one way, then it's a different face. And it was just really important also that, like, when I said to Dwayne, like, because as an actor, I've worn prosthetics before, and you want to feel comfortable doing your normal things. And I was like, how do you feel? He's like, I feel like myself. And I'm like, that's perfect, you know?
I'd also like to pivot to the action or the fighting within the movie. I would say that it's very unique compared to, you know, what we're used to, the usual fare of the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
You usually see it's very center, it's up close, big booming score. This is a lot of off-center with a very nice kind of jazzy score underneath of it.
Nala Sinefro, she's the best.
Yeah, was that a decision and where that's something you wanted to do, or did you really want to differentiate yourself there?
It was a decision. It's something I wanted to do, and I also I did want to kind of figure out my own way, you know, because you see all these amazing movies and they're great, and I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna be even like a little fraction, just like a little dust of one of those, I want to find a way to do something that kind of makes it feel different. And I remember watching some of the MMA fights with the sound off and just kind of seeing how they were covered. And I was like, oh, wait. I also wanted to really make these punches feel real, you know, because like nowadays, if you get in there, there's so much trickery going on that like it kind of like it doesn't mean anything. And so I'm like, I want you to like try and want to get. I said to Maceo, we have third tier passes. So I purposely held everybody back. I told all the extras, do not give a shit about us. Get in our way. We have to make our way through to find you. And so we only stay outside the ring. It was a rule. Don't go in the ring. We're not allowed in there. That's for the fighters. And I wanted to give the audience a first row seat, basically, the best seat in the house. But you're not in there with them. So we have to feel it.
Yes.
And where you are in there with them is all the stuff before that. You know, all the emotions that they're going through. You're connected that way. And so even though you're distant, you can still feel close because you know the guy, you know. But I really wanted to kind of, and we had these crazy moves planned because it's like, for the most part, they're not actually getting punched in the face. Dwayne did get punched.
Oh,
you know,
really?
And he said, I have to, early on, because there's one really like brutal fight that Kerr was in. And he's like, there's no other way we're going to be able to do it. And he said to the guy, he goes, you got to hit me. You have to hit me. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. He goes, just, you know where to hit me where you don't like mess me up, but you got to punch me in the face.
Is this the fight with Alexander? Where he took
it was, it's with Fujita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fujita, he's just getting punched and kneed in the stomach. And it's just, it's insane. It's just intense. And that, he's like, I just got to get rocked. So, pun intended. But it's like,
I was waiting for it.
So yeah, so basically like, so in the sense, but we would be like, all right, so we're going to have the camera here and we know that we need to kind of hide this stuff. So we'll run down, act like you're getting a better shot and we'll pan through. And so it would end up learning, we would shoot all the fights with Greg Rementer, the stunt coordinator, who did an incredible job, you know, figuring out how to get these things. And he knew I didn't want to do special effects. He knew I wanted to get as much in possible in camera, and we did it in camera. So he's like, all right, so if we can put him here, and if your tell me where your camera's going to be, we would shoot them all, and then I would edit them, and then I would be like, okay, this is great. Let's add another punch here, another kick there, and then I would edit them again. And there was one amazing day where I had the whole office come down. We gave them all cameras, and we shot the fight in downstairs in the ring where that's where our workshop was. And then I edited that together to see if it was going to work, you know? And yeah, then it also allowed me to just like, when we got there to do these things, it's physical. They're grappling. They're getting thrown on the ground. Like that stuff you can't fake, you know? You can give extra padding and stuff. And it's like, if the camera's here, it's like, and then he hands down, and then he's like, oh, he's blocking it. But those first ones with the sound design, you can make it just really, the sound design was intense. Just, I wanted you to, because that's how you can get close, is hearing the punches. And it was not just the punch. I wanted to hear the sounds after the punch, the skin, the bone, you know, like we really were. So that you look at one of these punches and there's like 10 sounds. And it was funny. I remember watching, I took a sound design class in college, and the guy showed us, and you can find it online, but it's the Terminator 2 special feature sound design. And they go like, first one, like pistol. Then it's like shotgun. Then it's like cannon. And then they add all these other stuff. And then they show you the final sound. And it's like, and you're just like, oh my God, that's how you do that.
Yes.
And so we really spent a lot of time trying to figure out how they were the perfect noises. They're never the same. They're always a little different. And so you can bring it in closer that way. But we never went in the ring, you know, and I wanted it to feel like, oh, this is the best seat in the house. and I'll never be able to get another point of view. And when you see it on a giant screen, it's just cool.
After every single fight, I was drained.
Yeah, and it's also, that's the other thing is mixed martial arts. There's something to it where it's so fast. It's like bang, bang, it's like everything happens. I said to Greg, I need to know what a takedown feels like. So take me down. And so he's like, you sure? I said, yeah. Next thing you know, bang. I'm like, oh my God. It just happens.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need to capture that energy. And then Nala's like, okay, she saw the jazz. Like I had like free jazz drums, and she's like, no, it's got to be in time. And so we should put in jazz over this stuff, and the drum and saxophone and electric guitar, like figuring out all this stuff that we can do that kind of mirrors his emotional state as opposed to just kind of like pumping you up. So yeah, it was fun.
I was blown away by the production value throughout this movie, and specifically the time period. You really nailed, that late 90s, early 2000s time period in two different locations, which feels like a big challenge. And can I ask you what your experience was like shooting in Japan? I mean, that's
shooting in
huge.
Japan is unbelievable. It's amazing because like it's a totally different society, and yet so there's all these different rules and things that you have to kind of work with, but like to get that period, it's weird because it's a long time ago.
Yeah, and
you don't realize it, but like that's like.
Try not to think about it.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it because it scares me every time. I'm like, it's yesterday, right? Yeah. And it's like, no. And so, so there's the clothes, that Heidi, we wanted them to have a certain level of wornness to it, because one thing I realized is it's not the 90s, it's the late 90s. So all of your 90s shirts have to have a specific quality to it, that they've been worn, washed, and that they flow a different way. They hide your thing. They just drape specifically. The things needed to feel lived in a certain way. It was like I would obsess over like the scratches on the wall in the house.
The house was brilliant.
Which was a set.
The furniture.
That's a set. We built a house on a stage because part of it was I knew I needed these specific shots for one of those fights that I wanted the cameras to feel hidden. I didn't want the actors to see them. So we built the house for that, and but all the stuff. It's like there's these weird ineffable things that make something feel real. It's not quite clean. And then also we knew that like 16 millimeter, that the lenses we were using were going to add to that, add to that kind of, it's a nostalgia in a way, but it's not like precious, So I'm glad that you picked up on that, because that feeling is something that you work hard to get and you don't know if it's going to land. But shooting in Japan was just like, yeah, it was amazing, because like I remember there was this one thing where we had to stop this like market, and it's when Emily's coming and she's so excited to be in Japan, and they're just like, we don't close streets here, and I'm like, I just need 45 seconds, that's it, because I needed to have a bunch of people wearing the period clothes, cell phones, all that stuff.
I saw someone with the flip phone,
and it's like I needed that, and I couldn't have because the moment somebody entered in, you realized, oh my God. It was depressing because like, wow, things have changed a ton. But like the moment somebody entered in, you're like, I can't have that. And so I said, just 45 seconds, please. And they're like, okay, fine. And we found like the 4 points of entrance, and we just did it. We shut it down. We got it. And it was just fun. It was nice to have that energy over there. And everybody was such a pleasure to work with. And they were so happy, there's one thing that we didn't shoot. It's in this like temple. We shot it, but it's not in the movie. And it was amazing because it was this really small town. And while we're shooting the scene, the entire town was there. And it was just the most incredible thing. And the guy was the mayor. And there's this thing that they do. Like when they welcome you, he gave me this watermelon. And they put the watermelon in the middle of this square. And they give you like one of these like wooden swords. And they blindfold you. And everybody yells to you where to go. It's like piñata.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like a Japanese
It's a Japanese piñata, but with a watermelon. And I'm doing it and this, and I'm hearing all these voices, and I'm like, I'm going to listen to Maseo, because he's a cinematographer. Yeah. We're tied to the hip. I'm listening to him. So he's telling me exactly where to go. And I just go, whack. And everybody starts clapping, and I take off the blindfold, and the thing is like broken apart, and it's just like a good luck thing. And then you just are supposed to reach in and grab a piece and bite it. And there's all these just beautiful like ceremonies, for these little things. And it was nice to have that around, you know?
Yeah, no. Wouldn't get that here.
No. You get the other things here, though.
Yeah, you get a lot of things.
Yeah.
horns constantly blaring, at least here in this studio.
And it's funny because I specifically in the sound, when you watch the movie, I put in, and we were so specific. I was like, I need a plane to go over the house. I just need a plane. I want to hear a plane going over the house. And you hear that like low, just like going over. And it happens at the same time at different moments.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to hear a leaf blower 5 things away. And I'm adding all the stuff that you try and get rid of.
That's what makes it feel real.
Yeah.
Makes it feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Back to filming. You shot this on 60 millimeter.
Yeah.
There's a great photo of you in the grocery store with the big IMAX
Yes.
camera on your shoulder.
Yes.
First time using that technology for you?
It was the first time physically using that technology. I had worked on it, Oppenheimer and then The Odyssey, and just like seeing what he's doing with this thing.
Did you reach out to him for help? I know Coogler had spoken about,
Yeah, we talk, and it was just like, it was exciting. Like, I was asking him like, and I just kind of saw what it did on set, that camera, just and how he's not it was amazing. Like the way that he's treating that camera is like, and moving with it is wild. And it was just incredible to see. And so I was like, oh, I want to try something with this camera, and we ended up finding there's a specific moment in the movie when we use it, but it's an important thing because the movie transitions from like YouTube to 16 millimeter to like IMAX, and you have this journey, but it's all for IMAX,
Yep.
We met with them beforehand and talked about like, how can we get this to look okay on an IMAX screen? Because it's never been done before. There's never been a 16 millimeter movie on an IMAX screen. So it's like, how do we figure this out? And so we did all these tests with degraining and this, and we like, okay, if we pull back a little bit on our lenses on the handheld, we can smooth it out. So it was really shot with that idea. And one of the things I'm very excited is like, there's going to be a VHS on IMAX, which is cool. But because I wanted it to be like, you're discovering. That's how a lot of this happens, nowadays is you swipe on your phone and you see this image. And you're like, oh my God, who's that? And then you go and you learn about them. So I wanted that to be a part of the process of the movie. Like, here's this incredible fight in Brazil. Like, and they're just watching it like you would find it on YouTube. And it's just there. And then it's like, I want to know more about that guy. Bam. Now we're going to find out,
Now, before we started this interview, you were about to dive into a story from the Odyssey set,
yes.
I believe.
This is like, it was just because I was saying we were in Morocco and I was going around I was like, I wanted to see the place. And so my day off, I went around I asked this guy, I was like, hey, can you take me around to some of the things? And I ate the food, I drank the things. And then I like remember talking to Chris being like, the water, like, what's that like here? And he's like, you don't drink it. And I'm like, and then it was just like, I just like I was like, in my head, I'm like, I saw the moment and I'm like, oh, that's going to be a thing. And then I remember just like going to the doctor or them putting the stethoscope on my stomach and they just went like, whoa, something's going on in there. And then I had to go back and I was
Other than
more
that,
prepared.
though, good shoot, right?
Oh, it was incredible. Just I was saying the scale of it, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And I just love being on his set and just learning. It's great. And it's just it's just wild.
It is wild. I mean, you're a frequent collaborator now.
Yeah,
I think you can say that. Did you expect, by the way, from Oppenheimer, until they build a bigger bomb to become the movie that it has?
I know. That's the thing that I had no idea. Somebody sent that to me, and I'm just like, oh, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's very much a thing.
And it's like, and it's just so funny because like, it's just that like, because when it's happening, you have no idea. All I'm thinking about is I got this accent that I got to do, and I'm trying to like be realistic in this thing, and so you just do it, and it's like, oh yeah, until you build a bigger bomb.
It's a great line.
It's a great line.
It's a fantastic.
And it's like I'm just trying to do justice to it, and it's just so funny that like it became this thing, and you never know what's gonna happen, but I love it, because I had such a good time on that. It was just like working on that with everybody there, and it was just so like it's just funny to see that face, and I can like go right back to that moment in the desert, you know, probably I don't know 6 miles away from where they actually did the test, you know, with Killian, just thinking, how am I going to deliver this thing?
Yeah. Not to stay too much on the internet, but I don't know if you saw this. A tweet went viral last week, and it's just a picture of you promoting Daddy Longlegs outside the IFC Center, right next to you, looking glamorous.
Oh, wow.
On the Venice red carpet.
That is killer. That is killer.
Which, if you're ever in New York, go to the IFC Center. It's the quintessential New York movie experience, in my opinion.
It's like an independent multiplex.
Yes. How would you say you've grown the most since that picture? As a filmmaker, at least.
Well, the thing is I part of me wants to feel like I've learned a lot of how to do stuff, but part of me likes to think that I haven't changed that much, hopefully, from that first photo, because, like, no joke, when we did our tech check in Venice, and then on my way out, I see everybody going in, and my initial reaction is, "Hey, go enjoy." I'm like, and I stood outside and I said hello to everybody because I was just like, I wanted to like see if they were gonna have a good time, you know, go in and enjoy it. And they're like, "Whoa, what are you doing standing out here?" So it basically was the same thing, you know. Nobody took a picture there, but it was just like, that was a moment where I was just like, okay, it's the first movie. All I wanted was for it to be held over. That's it. I just wanted to make it to the next weekend, and so printed out this sign, all these flyers, and I just stood outside all day for 9 hours, convincing people not to go to other movies and to go to this one. And they're like, "Well, who are you telling me this?" I'm like, "Well, I made that with my brother, you know." And it's like, they're like, "What?" And you're standing out here, and everybody at the theater thought, "Oh, this is cute." But then when I came back the next day, and I was also there all day for 9 hours standing, they're like, "Oh, he's not messing around. He's really, this is a real promotion thing that he's doing." So, I think it's amazing, you know, that like, yeah, to go from that to being there, but like, I hope not too much has changed. You know?
I mean, listen, the gondolas and the Aperol spirits, they have nothing on a slice of Joe's Pizza.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Come on. Can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. Although their pizza is pretty good over there. It's just different.
So before you get out of here, I would like to really quickly, usually we'll go through and do a full ranking, but we're just going to do a quick draft of favorite directors working right now.
Oh, fuck.
I know, it's tough.
I could go PTA, Chris Nolan.
Okay.
You know.
I mean, I would have let off with PTA, so you took him off my board.
Okay.
PTA and Nolan, right at the top. Wow. I'd go Scorsese.
Oh,
next.
for sure.
I mean.
No, but that's Scorsese. You don't.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's still going.
Yes.
And he's making things at such a high level. Scorsese, done. Yeah. Scorsese. Oh, man, this is too hard.
Next on my list would be Park Chan-wook.
Okay,
I think is just
that's a good
brilliant.
One. It's just so funny because it's like there's so many. There's so many people.
I started to write a list and then it just like I had to stop myself at some point. I got like 20 names in. I was like, we're not gonna.
Can I just like not go? Because it's like there's certain like I don't want anybody to be like, oh,
why'd you leave me off?
Yeah, why'd you leave me off?
How about this? Who's one director you really want to work with as an actor?
Oh, well, you got Spielberg.
Okay.
You know, that's another guy who's still going.
Can't wait for his UFO movie.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
And then, fuck. Let's see. What else? Who else is there? I'm thinking like there's so many else. Mike Lee.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Mike Lee. There's, oh God, yeah. There's too many.
There's
Herzog, Werner Herzog.
Oh,
come on.
Incredible.
Now it's like it's all like coming back to me. So there's no particular order here. You know, and then there's a new movie, Ross McElwee, he made a documentary. This Sherman's March was a big influence. But yeah, there's so many. It's not fair. I don't like this draft.
You don't like this draft?
Because it's like
throw it out.
Yeah. It's just like
fire the person who came up with this idea.
It's the kind of thing where I'm just like, I get so overwhelmed in my head about like, okay, what's going with it, blah, blah, and then it's like you lose these. I don't know. There's too many. But then you got. It's endless. You know, you have like Cuarón, Del Toro. You got,
of course,
and then you
the Three
have
Amigos, of course.
It's exactly. So there's just it's an amazing kind of moment just to be watching movies. You know that like there's just such a. There's
a wealth of just great filmmakers right now.
It's a deep bench.
You're on that list, by
Oh,
the
no.
way. First,
Yeah.
definitely. So, Smashing Machine, October 3rd.
Yeah.
Definitely go see it. Saw it last night. Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
This has been an honor.
Yeah. This has been great. So fun.
Thank you.